ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नामे गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमय यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजय आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। We are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, canto 10, chapter 55, verse number 1. In the previous chapter we studied about Krishna's marriage to Srimati Rukmani and all the big festival which was celebrated in Dwarka. In this chapter there is a description of Krishna's son Pradyumna. He was born and then kidnapped So kidnapping is a very old profession. It is not something new. It's going on for a long time. So that story of Pradyumna being kidnapped is being described here. So Sri Shuka Uvacha Kamastu Vasudevamsho Dagdha Rudramanyuna Deha Upapattaye Bhuyastameva Pratyapadyata. So he says that Kama, who is the Amsa or part of Vasudeva, he was burnt by anger of Rudra or Shiva, and then to take body again, Deho Pattaye, he took shelter of him, means of Vasudeva, Sri Krishna. So Bhuyastameva Pratyapadyata. Because he is born from him, so he takes his shelter and then takes birth through him. So Sri Vishnath Chakravarti comments, Karika Pancha Panchashat Tame Pradyumno Rukmunihi Sutaha Shambarena Hritastam Sa Hatvagat Sa Priyaha Pitrin. So in this 55th chapter there is a description how Pradyumna was born and then he was kidnapped by Sambarasura, an asura. And then later on Pradyumna, when he grew up, he killed Sambarasura, and then along with his wife he came back to his parents. So that's the story which is described here. Jamvatyadi vivahebhyah prageva pradyumna janma tato vivahaha tatah shambaragarat pradyumna pratyagamnam iti kramo jaya. So he's giving a little timeline that Krishna married Rukmani, then he married many other wives, but Pradyumna was born before any other wife was married, such as Jambavati. So then after Pradyumna's birth, then Krishna married many other women, and after that then Pradyumna returns back after killing Shambrasura. So this is the order of the story. Atra tu Pradyumnasya janmani kathite tacharitam api sarvam kathniyam iti kathitam. So he says because Pradyumna's birth is being described, so he also describes his story, not just the birth, but what really happened. So why he is saying this is means it's not sequential in time, because after that he is going to describe the marriages, but marriages will happen before Pradyumna comes back. So that's why he is saying that this story of Pradyumna then killing Sambrasura and comes back, it comes here only, although it happened after the stories which come later. So that's why he comments. Atra swayam bhagavato nitya lila parikaranam prapanche prakatyam khalu bhagavatichaya swasmin pravishtanam swasva vibhutinam eva prathmam ashritya drishyate natu sakshat swasva prathya bahirmukhanam nana vadanam utthana bhavartham Bhakti Yoga Siddhantasya Rahasyatva Rakshanartham cha Parokshvada Risheha Paroksham cha mam priyamiti Bhagavadukte. So he says that Bhagavan, he comes along with his Nitya Lila Parikaras, Pradyumna, etc., or his eternal associates. So they manifest here. But when they manifest, sometimes it is described that they are manifesting, and sometimes it is described as if their vibhutis are manifesting, although it is they who are manifesting. So Bhagavad Ichhya Swasmin Pravishtanam Swasva Vibhutinam eva Pratham Ashritya Drishyate. So he has his vibhutis which are part of him. So it appears that as if he is taking shelter of his vibhutis and then they are manifesting. So that's how it appears. Natu sakshat svasva prathya. So it does not appear that, or at least it's not clear that he is coming directly himself. Means here also Pradyumna is described as if he is Kamdev, which was burnt by Shiva. But it is not that. That Kamdeva which is burnt by Pradyumna is his vibhuti. So as Krishna will say later on, he also cites Prajanas Chasmi Kandarpa, that among the Prajanas means who gave birth I am Kandarpa or Cupid or Kamdev. Shakti is. So Bahirmukhanam Nana Vadanam Utthana Bhavartham. So why he does that? So he does it because there are many types of people who think many things about Krishna. So some Bhagavatam says Krishna is Swam Bhagwan, but there are many other who say that he is avatar of Vishnu, he is avatar of Narayana, he is avatar of Narayan Rishi, he is avatar of Vamandev. Many places the sages also speak like this in Mahabharata or in other Puranas. So therefore he also maintains that. He does not want that these things are contradicted. Because some people believe like that and it suits them. So he also goes on with that. And Bhakti Yoga Siddhantasya Rahasattva Rakshanartham. And he also therefore protects the secrecy of the Bhakti Yoga. Means not everybody knows the truth. So they continue with that. So therefore Advaita also continues, and other devotees of other devas, they also continue. Because sometimes it is also described that it is Shiva who is the source of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, or Devi is the source. So they are his vibhutis, as we know from Bhagavad Gita. Rudranam Sankarasya says among the Rudras I am Shankara. So but sometimes he seems to be taking birth from him. So these stories are there so that the belief of people is maintained. And then Bhakti Yoga Siddhantasya Rahasyattva. So Bhakti Yoga Siddhanta that he is Swam Bhagwan, it remains a rahasya. And those people will say this is how Gaudiya people explain. But actually the truth is this. So everybody feels satisfied. This is the meaning of Nigam Kalpataru. That Vedas are Kalpataru. So everybody feels satisfied and everybody thinks that they know the perfect Siddhanta. And everyone else is making some mistake somewhere. So this is the explanation he gives. So Parokshavada Rishyah Paroksham cha Mama Priyamiti Bhagavadukte. Because Krishna himself says in 11th canto that the sages, they follow the principle of Parokshavada. Paroksha means something which is indirect. What is available just to your eyes is called aparoksha. Means you can perceive it directly. Something which is beyond the wall. So you don't see it, but you can make some inference about it. You hear the sound, and you say, oh, so and so is talking, because you recognize the voice. But maybe his recorded lecture, How do you know? But that is paroksha. So sages, they don't speak always in a very direct sense, and Krishna says that he also likes it. Paroksham cha mama priyam. Says, I also prefer that. And the reasons he already gave above why he prefers that. So yatha drono eva nanda, now he gives some example. So just like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, Vasudev, Devaki, Arjuna, etc. They are eternal associates of Bhagavan. But then it is described that somebody did tapasya, Drona and Dhara, and then they were born as Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And then Krishna appeared because he gave them boon that I will take birth from you. So is it really that Nanda Maharaj became Krishna's father because he did some tapasya, some austerity? So then what happens to his eternal father? If he accepts that his pastimes are eternal, his abode is eternal, and he has eternal associates, then he has also eternal father. But this story is also there. So he says, Drona eva nando abhut. Drona became Nanda Maharaj. Dhara eva Yashoda. Dhara was wife of Drona. So she became Yashoda Mata. And Kashyapaha Vasudeva. Kashyapa and Aditi. They became Vasudeva and Devaki. Anyeva Uddhava, someone became Uddhava. Indra eva Arjuna, Indra became Arjuna. Yama eva Vidura, Yamaraj, he was cursed by Animandav Rishi. The story is there in Mahabharata because he was wrongly punished. So then he cursed Yamaraj to become Shudra. So then Yamaraj became Vidura. Then Vidura went back after 100 years. Guha eva Samba. Samba is Krishna's son, famous son. So he is Kartikeya. So Senani Nam Aham Skanda. Krishna says among the warriors, I am Skanda. That is Kartikeya, Prabhu, son of Shiva. So these are all vibhutis, but they are described as if they are the primary personalities. So in the same way, Kamdev is Pradyumna, that's what he means to say here. Kim bahuna swayam bhagavatopi swapravishta swansa prathya eva janma. And what to speak of these people, Krishna who is Swayam Bhagavan, he is also described as manifestation of somebody else. Yatha Vaikuntanath Vagatya Vasudeva Grihe Jata. That Lord of Vaikuntha, so Narayana, he became son of Vasudeva. Kvachid Vamana. Some places it is described that Vamandev became Krishna. Evam Kvachid Rishi Narayana eva. Sometimes it is described that Krishna and Arjuna, they are Nara, Nara and Rishi. So Arjuna is Nara, Krishna is Narayana. They are two sages. And Kshirodanath Evetiyam. And also Shirodakshai Vishnu. Because it is to him that Brahma had gone with the problem of earth. When earth was burdened, then he went to Brahma, Brahma went to Shirodakshai Vishnu. Then Shirodakshai Vishnu said, don't worry, I will come. He lifted his two hair from his head. So some say he is Kesha avatar. He is an avatar of hair of Vishnu. It is also described. So tasya trityo viho ya pradyumna tasya api swapravishta prakrit kandarpa akhya swavibhuti prathaya avirbhava maha kamastu. So Pradyumna is the third of the Vyuha. So there is Vasudev, then Sankarshan, then Pradyumna. So this is the quadruple manifestation. So now this is eternal, because there is one which remains in the Paravyoma, and there is one who comes here in the Manusya-līlā. So this both are eternal, but now it is described that Pradyumna is born as Kamdev, who is actually only a Vibhuti. So therefore he says Kamastu. So that's why the word tu is used to distinguish. Otherwise, what is the point of saying tu here? Tu is used to make a distinction from something before. So Vasudevamsa prajnaschasmi kandarpa iti gitokter Vasudeva bhutirityartha. So he is called here as Vasudevamsha because Krishna, he says in Bhagavad Gita that he is Kandarpa among the Prajana. Dehasya uppatti swashraya Sri Pradyumna Deha Pravishtatvenaiva ya prapti tasyai tameva vichitra-līlā nidhes tasyai vichya tam pratyapadyata natu sasaktya eva tam prapa. So this Kamdev was burnt because they wanted Shiva to get married, and marriage cannot happen unless there is Kamdev. Who wants the burden otherwise? So Shiva, he was already married, but he lost his wife. Then he did not want to marry again because he was very devoted to his wife, Sati. So then he sat in meditation, and then this Asura came, and he can be killed only by son of Shiva. So there was a problem now. Shiva does not have a wife. His wife self-immolated. So what to do now? So she was born as daughter of Himalaya, Hemavati, Parvati. So she was also doing tapasya to get Shiva as husband, and Shiva is also doing tapasya not to get married. So there was a competition between Shiva and Parvati who can do more tapasya. So finally, lady won because they are more determined. Right? The sankalpa of woman is stronger than men. So therefore, Shiva has to marry, but before marrying he got a little upset. Says, what is this? I lost. So his anger fell at Kamdev. So Kamdev was burnt. Then his wife became widow, Rati. So now she was in trouble. This world is always like that, One person creates trouble, another person creates another trouble. So then she did tapasya. How can I get? Because now Kamdev is only without a body. That's why he's called Ananga. You heard of the word Ananga? Ananga Manjari? Right? Yeah, at least if not anything else, Ananga Manjari you must have heard it. So Ananga means who has no body. He is a no-body Manjari. That's what it means. So she can secretly go anywhere She has no body. So, but now what is this? You have a husband who is bodiless. So he's sitting in everybody's head and troubling people. That's what he is doing, Kamdev. He's only in the mind. That's why he's called Manoj. He took birth in the mind of people. Now Shiva cannot burn him. So he's called Mansij or Manoj. But that's all right. For people it is all right. They are getting married because of him. But Rati has no husband. So she did tapasya how to get the husband out so that he can also have a body. So that's the effect of that. Now Pradyumna is born. See the story.
Who was Pradyumna's mother?
Rukmani. You forgot. Krishna just married, that's why I said that. Ekoham Bahusyam.
He just married him.
Yeah, because that's what it says. I am one, I want to be many. Ekoham Bahusyam. So ekaki naramte, he doesn't enjoy alone. Nobody enjoys alone. That's people feel lonely, So even Bhagavan doesn't want to be alone. So he got married. And then that is also not enough. Then you want children. Because marriage is not sufficient if you don't have some baby crying and waking you up at night. So then Krishna got a baby. But the baby did not last very long. That was the problem. Saeva jato vaidarbhyam Krishna virya samudbhavaha Pradyumna iti vikhyataha sarvato anavamaha pituhu. So Saeva jato. Saeva means this Kamdeva. Kamastu Vasudevan. So that Kamdeva was born from Vaidarbhi, that is Rukmani, and from the virya of potency of Sri Krishna. And he was given the name Pradyumna. Pradyumna iti vikhyata. Later on he became famous as Pradyumna. And the characteristic of Pradyumna was that he was just like his father. Later on we will read that even Krishna's wives, they will get confused looking at Pradyumna. They thought that he is Krishna. So he says, Sarvato anavamaha pituhu. He was in all ways, appearance, his eyes, nose, everything. He was a true copy, like this that they have that 3D printer. So he was complete a printout of Sri Krishna, although his son. So that is called Anavama, not different. Saeva, so he, only he means Kama eva, Pradyumna iti vikhyata. So he is Kama, who is known as Pradyumna. Loke pratham eva praptam. So he says that he became famous as Pradyumna. Kama became Pradyumna as famous. So he is giving a twist on this. He says he only became famous. He was not. He was only known that Kama is Pradyumna, but Kama was not Pradyumna. That is the meaning of. Because sometimes you become famous when you are not something. So Loke pratham eva prapta. He only attained fame, popularity as Kamadev. Vastutastu Sachidananda Vigraha Pradyumna eva Tritiyavya. But in reality, Pradyumna is not material, because Kama is material. Kama is servant of Indra. Servant in the sense he assists him. Whenever Indra has a problem, then he is his weapon. Some sage, some sadhu, some king doing some austerity. So Indra becomes worried because he doesn't want to lose his post. He worked so hard. He did 100 yagyas, Aswamedh yagyas to get a post. Now after working so hard, then somebody comes and kicks you away. So he doesn't want. So therefore, whenever someone is trying like that, then he calls Kamdev. He says, please go take care of this person. It's like mafias, they do. They have their sharp shooters. They just say, okay, practice. It's been some time that you have done some shooting, so go ahead. So like that Kamdev goes. And then he has his full team, orchestra, music, dance, fragrance, mango leaves, Vayu Sakha. Vayu is also there, nice wind blowing. So they create a whole scene. And then Kamdev, he sits on a mango tree and shoots arrow. He's got 5 arrows, one for each sense. So he captures. Then he sends Urvashi. Says, now you go. Job is done. So it's a coordination. That's how it happens. So we should also learn from this. This is how you get trapped in the material world. Whether male or female doesn't matter. But this is the trapping. Of course, people want to get trapped, then it's all right. But if you want to avoid, then better learn this, how the trap is laid, so that you can recognize. Because once you get trapped, then it's too late. So you have to know it before you get inside the trap, so that you know this is only crap. So he says that Vastutastu Satchidananda Vigraha Pradyumna eva Tritiyo Vyuhaha Natu Kamo Nama Keval Jiv Vishesha eva. So he says that in reality Pradyumna is transcendental. He is eternal, he is blissful, his body is not material, and he is the third of the Vyuha, of this quadruple, 4 people. And he is not Kama. He says Kama is only Jiva Vishesha. Kama is only a Jiva. Pradyumna is Vishnu Tattva. Kamdev is not Vishnu Tattva. So therefore we have to know this. So what is the proof of this? It says Yaduktam Sri Gopal Tapni Shrutav. In Gopal Tapni Upanishad there is a sloka. Yatra sau samsthitah Krishna stribhi shaktya samahitah Rāma-Anuruddha Pradyumna Rukminya Sahito Vibhuriti. So then there it is said that, actually this is interesting because there is a description of Mathura, although what we hear about Pradyumna is in Dwarka. Pradyumna was born in Dwarka, he was not in Mathura. But in Gopal Tapni Upanishad, they are described in Mathura. So Yatra Sau Samsthita Krishna. Krishna is situated there in Mathura, Tribhi Shaktya Samahita, with 3 of his potencies. And which are these 3? Rama, Anuruddha, Pradyumna. So Balram, Anuruddha and Pradyumna. These 3. And Rukmanya Sahita, and of course his wife Rukmani is there. So this is to show that Pradyumna is eternal associate, and therefore he is not a Jiva, he is not a material, his body is not material. Because what is described in the mantra, any Vedic mantra, has to be eternal. Because the Vedas are eternal. So something which is described there cannot be temporary. So any deity which is described in the Vedic mantras is eternal. The object of worship cannot be something temporary. That is the principle. So, tam shambaraha kamarupi hritva tokamanirdasham saviditvatmanah shatrum prasyodan vatyagat griham. So there was this asura called Shambara Asura. and he had the ability to change form, Kamarupi. So he can become whatever he wants to become at his will. So what he did, that he became some maid servant or somebody and went into the Sutika Graha where Rukmani was there with the baby. He is born. So even before he was 10 days old, Anirdasham, Dasham means 10, and Anirdasham means he was not 10 yet. He was not 10 days old. So somewhere, I think in Harivansh Puran it's described it was on the 6th day. So then he came and he went and he took the baby when nobody was there, or maybe Rukmani was sleeping, or who knows. And then he ran away with the baby. And sa viditva atmanah shatrum prasya udanvati agad griham. So why he did that? He came to know that this similar story like Kamsa, as Kamsa came to know that 8th child of Devaki will kill him. So then he started killing the babies. So the Shambrasura was told that this baby who is born to Krishna, he will kill you. So then he said, okay, before he kills me, I will kill him. So he came and he kidnapped the baby and he threw him into the sea. And then he went home. He says, okay, the baby is finished. So that's what he did. Okay, there was some commentary remaining on the previous sloka. Prathame cha Narada upashya mantro yatha. Pradyumna is also mentioned in the mantra described in the first canto. Narada. Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Niruddhaya Namah Sankarshanaya Cha. So this is first canto, 5th chapter, 37th sloka. There also it is mentioned that I bow down to Bhagavan Vasudeva, meditate on him, and on Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Sankarshana. Atrapi shloke pituhu krishnat sarvata sarprakarenaiva anavama anyuna. And in the sloka also it is described that he was not less than his father in any way. So if he is not less than his father, he cannot be material. If Pradyumna was actually the Kamdeva who is Kamdeva of the material world, then how is it said that he is not less than Krishna in any way? Krishna is Vishnu Tattva and Kamdeva is Jiva Tattva. So that also shows that Pradyumna is not this Kamdeva. Mahendra Bhrityaha Prakritaha Kama. So this Prakrit Kama, the material Kama, is the servant of Indra. Krishna is also called Kamadeva. There is Kama Gayatri. But that Kama is not material Kama. There Kama means Prema. Evam vyakhatum uchitas tasmat tasmin pradyumne tadichya sa pravishya sthito. So therefore it should be explained like this. But this Kama, he entered into Pradyumna. Tadichya sa pravishya sthito. By the will, because Rati has also performed tapasya. So therefore he entered into the body of Pradyumna. Bhagavati Jagadi Iva iti evam Sri Nandadeshu api Sri Dronadinam Sthitir Vyakhya. So just like Bhagavan, he enters into the universe, or Drona etc., they entered into Nanda. When it is said that Nanda Maharaj is Drona, it means Drona entered into the eternal Nanda Maharaj. That's how it has to be understood. Anirdasham iti Vishnu Puran Drishtya Shashtha Anni ityartha. So the word Anirdasham means before 10 days. According to Vishnu Puran, it is on the 6th day that it happened. And why did he do it? Because he came to know that he will be killed. This Shambharasura will be killed by Pradyumna. How did he come to know? Did some Jyotish, some astrologer tell him that? So he says Narada told him. Because Narada is very good at this. If Narada was not there, so many nice stories will not be there. So he looks like a troublemaker, but actually he is making sure that these asuras get killed. That's the idea. So therefore it says, Tad vadhecho Sri Naradat. So Narada, he wanted that Shambharasura, who is causing trouble, be killed. So then he goes and tells him. Because he knows that once he knows this guy is going to plan something, and that plan is going to backfire. Sometimes they say that you dig a ditch for someone else and you yourself fall into it. So he wanted to kill the baby, but the baby reaches his home and then becomes big by eating his food and then kills him. So he says, okay, if I was staying at my father's place, I may have taken some time. But since you brought me here and you're feeding me, I'm grateful to you. So I have to pay you back. So he liberates him. He says, what can be better than this? That I make you free from this asuric form. So that's what he will do. So what he did, he threw him into the sea. And when he threw him into the sea, he thought that, okay, now I will never see him. But put him sea, then you have to see him. So he comes back. So he says, Tam nirjagara balvan meena sopya parai saha vrito jalaina mehta grihito matsa jivibhihi. So when he was thrown into the sea, one big fish swallowed him. Did not hurt the baby, just took him inside. And then came fishermen. So the fishermen, they threw their net, and the fish along with other fish got caught. So this fish was very big, so he also came inside that. Interesting story. How karma does not leave you, it goes behind you. Nirjagara gilitavan, swallowed. Vichitra lila chikirshor bhagavata vachyanatu pradyumnadapi mino balvaniti. So how is this possible? Pradyumna is Bhagavan and a fish is swallowing him. He says he wanted it. This was his also lila, that I go into the fish. So then it is not that a fish can be more powerful than him, otherwise he would have fought. But he did not want to fight. He said, okay, I will go inside. So then he got caught. The fishermen bring him home. They are very happy that such a big fish, they have never seen such a big fish. And she was big and had a very big thing inside. Must be very fortunate fisherman that Bhagavan is coming to his house inside the fish. So tam sambaraya kaivarta ubjarurupayanam suda mahanasam nitva avadyan swadhitina adbhutam. So then what they did, that these fishermen, they gifted the fish to Shambharasura. You see, he threw him in the sea, he comes back in his own house. So this is how he invites trouble. Could have lived peacefully for some time, but he could not. So the fishermen, maybe this Sambarasura has done some favor to them, protected them or something. So they said, oh, this Maharaj deserves this big fish. So they went and gave it to him. So of course he is not an ordinary person. He has his big place. He has cooks who are cooking for him. So he said, give it to the cooks. So the now fish reaches into the kitchen of Sambarasura. And the Suda means cook. There were not one, it says plural, Suda. So there are many cooks. They saw the big fish, so they all got their knives to cut the fish. So Mahanasam Nitva, then they brought into the kitchen and cut the fish. And Avadyan, when they cut the fish, got surprised.
That's a baby.
Says there is a baby inside the fish. So they were very amazed. He says, what is this? Avadyan, Khanditavanta. So they cut. So now there was Mayavati, was also working there in Sambarasura's palace. So Drishtva tad udare balam Mayavatyai navedayan Narado kathyat sarvam tasya shankita chetasa. So this Mayavati was there, in whom the Rati was there, wife of Kamadev. So they gave the baby to her. She wanted the baby. Like our, what is her name? Rekha. She's adopting a baby. Works here, our cleaning lady. So she was looking for a baby, so she got. So Mayavati was also looking for a baby. She was feeling lonely. So now she got a baby. She is very happy. So Mayavati Navedyan. Now the Sambarasura does not know all this. Why? Narada came there.
Troublemaker.
So Narada came there singing on his veena, Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. And then he told the whole story to Mayavati. That look, this boy is your husband. You are doing tapasya to get your husband. He is the boy. Because the boy was very beautiful. Says, don't you see, he looks like your husband? So protect, don't tell this to this Sambarasura. Otherwise he would tell, oh, baby came, you know. So they kept it a secret. Or even if you don't keep a secret, at least this much is a secret. So she was Shankita Chetasa. Tasyaha Shankita Chetasa. She was having doubt, what is this whole thing? So Narada came and explained everything. So Narado akathyat sarvam tasya shankita chetasa balasya tattva utpattim matsyodara niveshanam. He said, he told the whole story, that how did he get inside the belly and what he will do when he grows up. So take care of the baby, don't worry. And one day you will be marrying him. So now you take care of him, but know that he is not your son or anything. But act like that. So sarvam kamoyam tav bharta. So what is that? He told everything to her. He says that this is actually Kamdev, your husband, who was burnt by Shiva. So don't have any doubt. Sacha kamasya vaipatni ratirnam yasashvani patyur nirdagdha dehasya dehatpattim pratikshati nirupita shambarena sa supodana sadhane kamadevam shishum buddhva chakre sneham tadarbhake. So that lady, Mayavati, she was the wife of Kamadeva. His name was Rati. So these words are also interested. Rati, Kama. Rati means love. You know, Bhakti is also Rati. bhav, and kama is prema. So prema and rati, husband, wife. The word kama is masculine gender, rati is feminine gender. That's why Sanskrit words have genders. So patyur nirdagdha dehasya dehotpattim pratikshati. She was waiting for the husband to take birth because he was burnt by Shiva. Nirupita Shambarena sa supodana sadhane, and she was engaged by Shambarasura for making soup. Soup here means dal. She was very good at making dal and rice. Odana, you know odana. Odana means rice, soup means dal. Soup is also a Sanskrit word. It's not only in English. You can see here soup or odana. So she was very good at that. So that's what she was doing in the kitchen. So now when she understood that this baby is Kamadev, then she became very affectionate to the baby. Not really like a mother, but like wife, waiting for him to grow. And he grew up very fast. He was growing like fish. Fish grows very quickly. Remember Matsya Avatar, how he was growing. So that's why he came from the fish, so that he can grow quick. And nobody thinks that there is something fishy going on here. So deho pattimiti matse katha bhasmi bhute dehe sati ratis taddeha prapti artham Shivam Aradhya Mase. So in Matsya Puran there is a story that when Kamdev was burnt, then Rati performed worship of Shiva himself to get body for her husband, because Shiva is the one who burnt. So she did austerities to please Shiva. And then at that time Sambara also came and he was also doing austerity to please Shiva. Sambraschaagato varantaraya Shiva santushta pratmam varam vrinu iti sambram pratyahasma. So he was also performing tapasya to get a boon from Shiva, and Rati was also performing tapasya to get a boon. So Shiva appeared. So then he asked Sambarasura, I am pleased with you, take a boon from me. Now Sambarasura saw Rati and he forgot for what he came. Because kamat krodho vijayate krodat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhrama smriti bhansat buddhi nasa. So he lost his buddhi because this Rati was Kamdev's wife. She is very beautiful. That's why she is called Rati. Rati means that you fall in Rati. You fall in love with her if you look at her. So when he saw, he became absolutely lusty. So he says, I want her. Forgot his tapasya. So he says, such a ratim drishtva kamartas tameva vavre. Being full of lust, he said, I want her. Tata Shiva rudatim ratim sasvas. And then Rati started crying. He says, what is this? I'm trying to get my husband. This guy wants me. So she started crying. And Shiva says, don't worry. This guy has lost his intelligence. So you will get your husband. You go with her. And become Mayavati, not Rati. So you fool him. So that's what he said. So sasva samaha yahi yasya sange tatrevate vanchit siddhir bhavini iti. So Shiva said, don't worry. The boon which you are asking for, that boon will be fulfilled when you go with him. Tato ratir maya eva sambram mohitva sparsrahita. So then Rati became Mayavati because she did not want to be touched by Sambrasura. So that's how she remained Mayavati. Tadgrihe Mayavati abhidhana tasthav. So that's how she remained in the house of Sambrasura. So Sambrasura basically did not get anything ultimately, and Rati got her husband. So we'll stop here if there is any question to be asked.